That's all the time we've got left for now. From me, Mark Edwards, and the rest of the sport team, bye-bye.
Thanks to Mark there. Stay with us here on BBC World News. Coming up next, it's World Business Report with Sally.
Now on BBC World News, the latest business news from across the globe. World Business Report.
Easter travel turbulence. More flights to and from the UK are cancelled as airlines grapple with surging demand and high levels of sickness. And the rising cost of a baguette. We travel to France to find out why the simplest things are causing a big headache for politicians in the run-up to their election. Hello and a very warm welcome. You're with World Business Report. I'm Sally Bundock. And we begin with the staffing crisis hitting the UK travel sector and causing miserable delays for passengers. More flights are expected to be cancelled today and in the days ahead as EasyJet, British Airways and airport operators try and manage staff absences that are double the normal levels due to COVID. Travellers are being warned of long queues at UK airports, including Heathrow. The travel industry is struggling to recruit and train staff quickly enough to meet resurgent passenger demand after thousands of jobs were lost during the pandemic. I talked to Paul Charles, Chief Executive of the PC agency that advises the travel sector and governments. I asked him how long this chaos will last for.
I'm afraid it's going to be an extremely bumpy period for at least the next month. So that means it's going to take in the peak Easter period. Essentially, what's happening is that the demand has returned faster than many airlines and airports had anticipated on the back of government restrictions being reduced in the UK and beyond. And airlines and airports simply have not been able to staff up as quickly as they had wanted to. They haven't been able to get security clearance for their staff in time, and as a result, they have scheduled flights which they simply cannot operate because they don't have enough staff to do it. When you add that into the COVID equation and the fact that several staff are off due to having COVID and having to self-isolate, then you've got this heady cocktail which understandably the airlines are very nervous about.
I'm sure they're very nervous about, because as soon as Easter's out the way, we've got the May half term, which is coinciding with, the Jubilee celebrations here. We've got more bank holiday days off. There will be more demand, won't there, going forward? And then, of course, the summer kicks in.
That's right. And in fact, if you look at forward bookings, as I do, and how busy the airlines are, they are really busy. They are back to 90 to 100% of where they were pre-pandemic in terms of future bookings. And when you talk to the CEOs of airlines, they say they're hoping to run 90 to 100% of their pre-pandemic flight schedule. So they're expecting to be as busy as they were, but clearly planning teams have not been able to find the right staff in time. And they're accusing the government, in fact, of not being able to process these security passes fast enough.
Paul Charles there. Now, here's a question. How much does it cost you at the moment to bake a loaf of bread? In France, it's become something of a national debate. Prices are going up and fast. The conflict in Ukraine has pushed up the cost of staples like wheat, while electricity and gas is becoming increasingly expensive. In the run-up to the first round of the country's presidential election this weekend, the cost of living has become the main political battleground and the humble baguette a symbol of rising concern, as Theo Leggett reports.
Making baguettes. It's something French bakers have been doing on a daily basis for at least 100 years. At this family-run boulangerie outside Metz, the ovens are warm and the bread is crisping nicely. But owner Christian is worried because costs are rising as fast as his loaves, and he's having to put his prices up.
The price of a baguette is €1.30. We've already had to put it up recently. It used to be €1.10. But I think from September we are going to have to put it up again, maybe to €1.50.
So here's the problem. Let's take a baguette, an absolute staple of French daily life. Now, about half of the cost of a baguette is normally made up of the salaries of the people who have to cook it. But those salaries are going up, so the amount of money spent on them is also increasing. Then we've got the cost of the ingredients, normally about a third of the price, but they're going up as well, nearer 33 to 35%. And energy costs, well, they've tripled. Now, what all of this means is that when you take into account other costs, like rent and all that sort of thing, you're left with very little for the baker. And that's why the cost of a baguette is going to have to rise. The price of flour is a major issue. This mill outside Lille supplies 100 bakeries. The owners say they have no choice but to pass on their own rising costs.
Since the conflict in Ukraine began, there's been a big increase in the price of wheat. In September, it used to cost €240 per tonne, and it's now over €400.
But it's not just about the price of bread. Here in the marketplace in Lille, you can buy fresh fruit and vegetables, meat, fish, but it doesn't really matter what you're buying. What the stallholders here tell us is that the price of everything is going up.
It's having a big impact because when you're buying goods wholesale, prices have really gone up by 30 to 40%. It's really difficult.
Let's hope they're going to do something about it, because otherwise we might have to close the store. We can't even pay our fees at the moment.
And you have the price of cereals, agricultural products and fresh foods.
And experts say it's the poorest people who are hit the hardest.
It's the low-cost products, discount products that will be the most impacted. And this kind of product is consumed by the low-income household. So it's a main problem.
The rising cost of everyday essentials is threatening to become a serious social problem in France. And with elections looming, there's no question the price of the daily baguette has already become a political issue. Theo Leggett, BBC News in Eastern France.
So we are now done in terms of World Business Report, but don't forget on our website, if you go to bbc.com/news, if you click on the business tab, you can see all the latest business stories, including, of course, Elon Musk's investment in Twitter. So much more there for you. But for now, it's goodbye.